Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, voluntary indoctrination into evil. Getting together with family over the holiday season, actually any time during the year, is an opportunity to feast upon ideas and to share dreams and indulge in hopes with those who are closest to you and those who should always have your best interests at heart. In past episodes of this Human Meme podcast, we have discussed the indoctrination of children. All children, and how their parents and their churches directly influence and adapt to a child's worldview, morality, and sense of duty and commerce in society, and how that indoctrination is involuntary. If the child wants to survive and eat and get along in life, the child goes along with the program. Oftentimes, children are indoctrinated right from the moment of birth into the settling of their parents' belief system. And so the indoctrination, covered and covert, and from the outside and the outset, all being done in the name of proper child-rearing. It's only later when we realize the after-effects of those involuntary indoctrinations as the child ages and begins to make decisions. And sometimes the child then rebels against a forced religious belief, dealing with the real-life after-effects of not being vaccinated or of being self-aware and so on. But what happens when a child seeks out their own voluntary indoctrination? An indoctrination done under the guise of righteousness and surreptitiousness and even anarchy and rebellion. All being done, all indoctrinated right under the nose of the supervising adult, the parent, the friend, the foe. A good friend of mine told me a story recently that seems to confirm a national sort of trend that our children, and in this narrow case, our white children, our privileged white children, are being radicalized by far right-wing lies that pretend to be the truth in fact. Families get together. The parents sit around and talk to each other while their children disappear over there beyond the rainbow in the living room. And these kids are not watching television. They're not playing football, sports, card games, hanging out. No, these children are glued to their mobile phones, watching radicalized right-wing news and reading radicalized right-wing propaganda websites. And these children, our children, are learning to hate minorities, learning to hate the foreign. And they are learning to only love their own, their whiteness, in unreasonable and irresponsible and dangerous ways. And it's all being done in the name of heritage and white pride. And these children, these unwitting children, our children, the generally white children, are being separated from their parents' rational, logical beliefs and the beliefs of their church. They are being flayed by technology and by hatred. And they are being harbored and educated by those outsiders who have a radical political agenda intended to undermine the United States of America. And hey, I know all of this may sound overdramatic and over the top, but how else would one describe this process of demarcation? Violence in these hateful memes is portrayed as a viable political end, celebrating fascism. A fascism that the world fought a world war to conquer. Fascism is now honorable and nostalgic. And what about the racism? A hatred that a nation divided fought to bring the American South to its knees in proper defeat. Well, all of that is now reformulated to be about states' rights and not about the right to own slaves. These political changes in perspective may appear subtle on the surface, but looking deeper into the causes and the effects of this sort of habitual, purposeful lying, a hatred that preys upon a young and unprotected mind, is alarming in the whole and devastating in the individual. When parents farm out or put up for sale the morality and the dignity of their children to this sort of foreign malice, we are all made shattered by that bad decision, because separation becomes more valuable than the result, and hatred becomes more winning than trying to get along with each other through compromise and camping along the river in the middle ground. The method and delivery system of these hatreds is not going to stop. You cannot force a child's eye away from an interactive screen all day, every day, 24 hours a day. But you can ask questions. One of the best things I've learned to do is, if someone tells you a racist or a sexist joke, you pretend you don't get that joke right away. And you ask them to retell that joke. I still don't get it. Say it a different way. And then again and again, have them explain it over and over until, perhaps, maybe so, they begin to realize how stupid and how terrible they sound, trying to make fun of that topic. So with these children who are indoctrinated, self-indoctrinated, have them explain what they're learning and thinking. Ask them to defend those beliefs. But don't try to convince them or pressure them or change their mind through yelling or intimidation or threats. That will not work. And it won't work because they've already been warned and programmed by their online media deceivers to stop talking and to quiet down if other people start asking the wrong questions. And so you, my human meme friend, you have to help draw out the conversation. And you need to help lay out everything in the sunlight for more analysis. Maybe you will be persuasive. And maybe not. but you have to try. If you, a friend, a parent, a family member, are not of the mind of the youngster who has been voluntarily indoctrinated, well, then you have a chance to make a difference, one young mind at a time. Wonder aloud. Have them play out the scenario. Engage them in thought and analysis. Show them the real world beyond the screen. Ask them to help you. Ask them to think rationally and independently with you. It is never too late to learn right from wrong. And our society is all about doing the right thing and getting punished for doing the wrong thing. It is never too late to change minds and reaffirm hearts. But it will be too late if you see these voluntary indoctrinations happening around you, pulling young people into our evil and defeated past. And then you just stand there and do nothing because you think the resurrection of the past is inevitable. And there's nothing you alone can do to change the world. And with that, my friend, I offer this to you. The world gets changed, one mind at a time. One thought in a moment. One opening of a palm from a clenched fist. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.